Coming up, thunder rolls over Cape Canaveral, and we're here to cover it. We're on scene for the latest on Launch America.
Plus, a slew of new aircraft to tell you about. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
Your plane is a valuable tool. With the Genesis Aerosystems STech 3100 digital autopilot, you can rest assured you will arrive safely to your destination. The 3100 is the industry's most advanced autopilot for single and twin-engine aircraft, providing exceptional workload reduction, safety-enhancing capabilities such as straight and level mode and speed protection. To learn more, visit our website today.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Alyssa Cobb.
Welcome to AOPA Live This Week Home Edition. I'm still locked down at home, but Tom has managed to escape.
That's right, Alyssa. We managed to escape to Florida. We are here at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, as a matter of fact, being properly and appropriately socially distanced from pretty much everything. But yesterday, when we were out at the launch site or near the launch site with some others from Air Force Media to gather and hopefully get imagery of the launch going off. You know, Launch Pad 39A was just across the water from us, and it would have been a great setup for a launch, but, well, you know what happened. This was to be an historic launch for many reasons. Americans would be launched into space from American soil for the first time in a decade. It was to be an American rocket, but more significant, a rocket owned by and operated by a private company. NASA was just the customer, booking 2 seats in the Dragon capsule built by SpaceX, sitting atop the Falcon 9 rocket, another SpaceX product. The 2 NASA astronauts, Robert Behnken and Douglas Hurley, rode to that rocket in Teslas. And billionaire Elon Musk developed Tesla, of course, and started SpaceX. The Vice President arrived in Air Force 2, and a little while later, followed by the President in Air Force 1. And then we waited for the scheduled 4:33 p.m. launch, hurrying back to our cars when the thunderstorms rolled through.
We're sitting out here in the car in the heat and thunderstorms at a viewing station waiting for it to come up, and we got all the necessary supplies. We got our masks, we got our almonds, and we got our phones.
The weather was a concern all day, but mission managers found enough optimism in the forecast that they kept the countdown going. About an hour before launch time, the weather started to clear. We all became optimistic, and at T-minus 40 minutes, they decided to start pumping kerosene rocket fuel and liquid oxygen into the Falcon 9. Less than 30 minutes from launch, the weather officer said if he could have just 10 more minutes, a launch might be possible.
16:45 local, I think we'll probably be clear on all the rules, but not quite going to make it for this.
It was an instantaneous launch window at exactly 4:33, and if they couldn't do it then, well, they couldn't do it at all.
Stand by. Continue to violate a couple different weather rules that we now do not expect to clear in time to allow for a launch today. We go ahead and end today's launch attempt. Launch control would end the launch auto sequence and proceed into the launch abort auto sequence, please. Launch abort has started.
And so, Alyssa, we were very close, just about 17 minutes away from launch. And when they finally scrubbed it, the clouds were starting to go away. It was starting to clear up. The light was getting nice. It would have been a beautiful launch. But unfortunately not to be. But hey, we're going to stick it out. We'll be here Saturday is the next scheduled window at 3:22. Hopefully that comes off. If not, Sunday afternoon is the next opportunity. And we'll stick around for that too, because this is such an historic launch, an amazing moment for American space.
It is certainly, and I hope it goes off well Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, you and me both.
Well, SpaceX may be the future of space travel, but for one company, the future is diesel. With that, a new generation of the P2010 from Tecnam, now with a diesel engine. The P2010 TDI being revealed in a YouTube premiere this week. It burns Jet A in a new Continental CD170 engine. The 3-door 4-seater burns 5.2 gallons an hour. Now that's music to my ears. And it carries 63 gallons. a range of more than 1,000 miles is possible, and the company expects to have a type certificate by July.
And on the experimental side, Bearhawk Aircraft introduced a new airplane as well, the Bearhawk 5. And that airplane is the largest airplane yet from the company, with 6 seats and more interior room than a Cessna 185. The airplane is expected to cruise at some 160 miles an hour and will have excellent takeoff and landing performance, says the company. You can build it with a Lycoming O540 or an IO580 with up to 315 horsepower. The Bearhawk 5 will be sold as a kit, and the prototype is undergoing flight testing now. And Waco just got certification also for their float plane, the YMF-5F. Now, of course, that's a classic open cockpit Waco design with Aeroset amphibious floats. The combination is unique and certainly attention-grabbing. And just after certification, the first customer took delivery of that new Waco. The airplane cost just under $600,000.
Well, buckle up for some bad news. The virus shutdown is leading to a big drop in aircraft deliveries across the board. The General Aviation Manufacturers Association released first quarter numbers this week. Piston deliveries down almost 12% compared to the first quarter of 2019. Turboprops even worse, dipping 42%. And business jet deliveries down 19%. It's not any better over on the avionics side. The Aircraft Electronics Association also reported a drop in avionics sales. There were more than $660 million worth of avionics sold in Q1. That's an 8.8% decrease from last year, a little more than half of the sales coming from the retrofit market. And there's no good news for big aerospace either. Boeing is laying off nearly 7,000 employees involuntarily. More than 5,500 Boeing workers have already accepted voluntary layoffs. Now, to the east of Boeing's Seattle plants, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries is closing its Moses Lake operations. That will cost hundreds of jobs. Mitsubishi was developing its SpaceJet regional jet with Moses Lake doing flight tests. And Rolls-Royce is eliminating some 9,000 jobs worldwide, most for its civil aviation business. Rolls-Royce is best known for its jet engines for larger aircraft.
Yeah, definitely some bad news across general aviation, but some good news for ForeFlight users. That popular flight planner and electronic flight bag has some new features. They've joined forces with FlightAware to see real-time traffic at your airports or anywhere else when you've got an internet connection. You'll be able to see traffic viewed by FlightAware's extensive network of ground-based ADS-B receivers.
Super excited about giving our customers the ability to see what's going on in local traffic patterns. So if you're at home right now thinking about flying or whether or not others are flying, you'd be able to use that ForeFlight traffic layer to see flight activity. You'd be able to explore how aircraft are flying around weather, but we're just super excited about being able to bring this joint capability to customers.
They can use that for long-range planning around weather, leveraging all the FlightAware data, as well as right when you're firing up the airplane and your iPad still has LTE connectivity. Suddenly you can get a sense of how many airplanes are taxiing, what runways in use, what routes they're using. It will greatly improve situational awareness and combine the power of these two great applications.
ForeFlight has also added multitasking, allowing you to run a second app besides ForeFlight on your iPhone or your iPad. These new features have been added free for all subscribers. Well, hey, AOPA and others are standing up against price increases by Customs and Border Protection at some 60 airports across the nation. AOPA and others sent this letter to CBP, announced their rate increase with little notice before the May 17 implementation deadline. CBP changed its charges for customs services from a flat rate to full recovery billing. The rate increases range from 29% to up to 54% at those airports, and CBP says it's because of a drop in revenue, and the law, they say, makes them take in what it costs to provide their services. Hey, and speaking of fees for service, what just happened in Canada reinforces what AOPA has long said about the dangers of privatized air traffic control systems. NAV Canada just announced ATC fee increases of some 30%. Because of the COVID-19 crisis, air traffic is way down in Canada, and NAV Canada, which is a private company, has to increase fees for everyone using the system in order to meet their budget. Here in the U.S., of course, air traffic control is provided as a public service using aviation taxes, and Congress keeps it going even if there's an economic downturn without sticking it to the users. Well, at least for now, but stay tuned. That's always a battle that's about to come back over the horizon, it seems.
Well, on Monday, we celebrated Memorial Day, a time to honor our military men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. For Memorial Day, the D-Day Squadron led a flyover of Southern California called Operation SoCal Strong. 15 World War II airplanes flew in formation to salute veterans, frontline healthcare workers, and boost morale for the public during the COVID-19 pandemic. The flight path began at the Loma Linda Medical Center and ended at the Chino Airport, flying over national cemeteries, VA medical centers, Zampernini Field, and several other notable landmarks. You may remember the D-Day Squadron from our coverage last year from Normandy commemorating the 75th anniversary of D-Day. The flyover was another fitting tribute to our veterans and frontline workers. Well, when we come back, we fly the latest and greatest from Bristell.
And low and slow over Lake Placid. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Cape Canaveral. Traditional graduation ceremonies, of course, are canceled pretty much all across the country. And there are a lot of creative ways, though, to celebrate the class of 2020. A pilot from Pennsylvania, for example, found a way to do it using his airplane. Carl Jenkins' son Keegan is a 2020 high school graduate. Carl and Keegan hopped in their trusty Piper Cherokee 140 and set out to create this fitting message for 2020 graduates on FlightAware. The tip of the heart falls directly over Keegan's high school, Warrior Run in Turbotville, Pennsylvania. Congratulations to Keegan and all of the 2020 graduates. And we're honoring flight students as well who are graduating. Scores of proud parents, flight instructors, students themselves shared their favorite aviation-themed photos of graduating students with us. They shared the magic moment of first flights, the preparation for solos, the satisfaction of conquering check ride jitters, and dreams to shape the future of aviation. Find the photos and read some of the graduate stories on our website. Sleek and powerful usually aren't words used to describe light sport aircraft, but they do describe the latest and greatest from Bristell. AOPA technical editor Jill Tallman takes us for a flight in the Bristell 915.
If you think light sport automatically translates to underpowered, then you haven't met the Bristell 915. The 915 is similar to the Bristell 912, but it has a Rotax 915IS turbo engine, which makes 141 horsepower. The extra power translates into an SLSA that can climb at 1,200 to 1,500 feet per minute. One of the pluses of the Rotax, it sips just 5 gallons of fuel per hour. The Bristell's low wing and canopy evoke speed. The black and yellow checkered flag wrap on this airplane do not look at all ironic. However, the airplane is still limited to the 120-knot top cruise speed for light sport aircraft. The Bristell handles nicely, feels solid, and features capable Garmin G3X avionics. With an IFR avionics package, leather interior, and advanced paint scheme, the out-the-door price is around $281,000. That's about $130,000 more than the Bristell 912, and a lot for an LSA. But Bristell customers asked for this airplane, and if pilots want such a beast and are willing to pay for it, who are we to argue? Jill Tallman, AOPA Live.
You can read more about the boosted Bristell on our website.
Well, lists are hard to build because inevitably you leave someone out. Now, most of the time, they're mature about it, take it in stride, like water's off a duck's back, right? But then there's Brian Turner from Just Plain Silly. We built a list of favorite YouTubers, and we named a lot of people.
We'll go ahead and see. We got Air Boyd. I like that channel, Aviation 101. Aviation 101, Josh Flowers. Oh, it's in alphabetical order. I thought my name would be under his. So we got Nancy Bradshaw. I subscribe to her. Bruce Air Flying. Cargo Spot. Look at all these people. Captain Joe! Captain Joe's on the list. Cirrus Driver. Right below that, Cirrus Instructor. Cirrus are really great airplanes. You know who likes Cirrus's? Julie? You know who likes Cirrus's? Julie Walker? A lot of people like Cirrus's, Julie. Let me put on my favorite hat and tell you all about them. A lot of people like Cirrus's. I like Cirrus's. It's a great plane.
But somehow, Just Plain Silly didn't make the list. And Brian, well, he's just being plain silly about it.
I found it. You're okay, Julie. You're off the hook. This is an article about me by Jill Tallman at AOPA.org. Yeah, this one's about me because my channel is just plain silly. It's the title's Never Forget to Be Silly. And that is so fitting. And they got a picture of me with well, that's not me. That's Captain Roger Victor. Yeah. Silly guy. Really. You know who else is silly? A lot of people are silly, Jill. You know what? That's fine. I don't need to be on the cover of next month's issue, Jill and Julie.
It's all in good fun, he says. Well, Ryan, or whatever your name is, we are sorry for the omission. It will totally happen again. Now, you can find Brian's channel by searching Just Plain Silly on YouTube, and I recommend you check it out. Now, he may not have been before, but now he's definitely on a list, and we'll let you figure out what list that is. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, let us know what you think. You can always see the address on our screen and comment on our YouTube channel. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll leave you this week with some beautiful imagery from Ed McNeil. It's from his unique turbocharged AirCam with reversible props over Lake Placid. See you next week.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.